you're landing to a country and it's all desert. You're seeing, buildings exploded and debris, and you're like, where am I going?
And you're not a military person.
And I'm not a military guy.
But at that particular time, do you know you are going to Afghanistan?
Yes, you do. You do know. When I first landed, apart from the cold, we get an incoming explosive device. We used to call them incomings, whereby, the Taliban will try to attack the military base by throwing in explosives.
Yes.
And there's a special sensor around the base which would sense an incoming rocket and would have a siren. So when you're being there, you're already prepared mentally in Kuwait. You're told when you hear such things, you lay down and hit the floor and then go into a bunker. Imagine unafika kwa nchi, and that's the first thing that welcomes you, a rocket attack. Mimi, I had no clue what's going on. I said, what have I come to do here?
Na jamaa washatuma warning shot.
Nafikiria bibi yangu, mtoto wangu 3 years hapa Mlawasi utatoboa, nimetoka Mombasa, hii mambo gari. I almost resigned April 2010 when the guys came hard at Kandahar airfield. They literally wanted to come in.
The Taliban?
Yes. So
you were there?
I was there.
I know there is a move called inside the wire.
Yes, inside the wire is within the base.
Within the base.
So we were called inside the wire logisticians. Like we are not allowed to go out of the wire.
Yeah.
It's really risky out there.
Uh-huh.
So this guy is an escort, a Kenyan driver escorting guys out of the wire, telling us karibuni bana. Wase.
Unakutana naye. Unamuuliza ulikuja aje huko?
Muuliza bro. Anaambia watu usijali, kuja usalimie wengine. So I was like, hey, kumbe jamaa huku. And they're like, bro, karibu, pambane, tutafutie pesa familia.
Habari ya pwani?
Nashukuru, Mombasani tuko fresh kabisa. Poa Malimao.
Unajishughulisha na nini? What do you do now?
Well, I'm literally an expert in logistics. Done marine logistics. I was doing also probably military or rather air logistics back in Afghanistan. So you're in professional young so far.
Tell me your Afghanistan story. How did you find yourself in Afghanistan? And at that particular time, Afghanistan was not the way it is today. Yes.
So Afghanistan was a unique story in my life, to be honest. It was a life changer in so many ways. Maybe if you can allow me to go back, there was a time I was trying to look for a job. Actually, it was my wife looking for a job then. Our eldest was 3 years old by then, I remember. So she was like, an uncle of hers had called her and says, I want to get you jobs overseas. Her and the sister, we were staying together. So she's like, can you make me my CV? So I made the CV. I was working, I could access computer and stuff.
Yes.
So I made the CVs for my wife. By then she was, my wife and my sister-in-law, the sister. Because they just lost both their parents within a period of 1 year or so. So we were staying together. I made the CVs. And I got the contact of this guy and we sent it. The guy was working for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Nairobi. They were trying to look for ladies going to work in, UAE, stuff like that, Qatar and stuff like that.
Yes. In the Middle East.
Middle East.
Yeah.
So I actually made the CVs and sent to the guy. So when I get home, my wife is like, did you send them? I said, yes. Did you send yours? I said, no, for what? I mean, you don't mnataka kazi. Right. So mimi niko sawa.
Yeah.
Say no. Keep, you can try. Just give it a try. So he kept on pushing me the whole night with the sister. So I said, okay, fine, I'll give it a try. The following morning, I made my CV, updated it, and sent it to the guy. Truth the story, table stand, I was contacted, and not them. Funny enough, by this company.
Mwenye alikuwa hataki.
Yes. So this guy in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs was sending them to these appointed recruiters in Nairobi who were actually recruiting people on behalf of Kenyans to international companies. So for some reasons, they were recruiting for Kenyans going to Afghan, Kuwait and Afghan, Warzones. And not just regular Kenyan soldiers, you need to have a background of military and stuff. For most of them were ex-military, wengine kutoka Kenya Navy, nini na nini. But because my background was so or less logistics, maybe the CV attracted them. I've never known till today because I have no military background.
The other guys walikuwa wanajeshi.
Most of them were ex to be honest.
Wanajeshi.
Maybe under ex-Navy, most of them.
Yes.
Ex-Navy, ex-Army. How? So mimi kujiuliza, I never knew about it till when they gave me a call. Nairobi waliniita, nikaenda Nairobi interview. By then, a company was called Silver Ray.
Yes.
So nikafika pale, I did my interview. And there were guys from this company called Dynco International. It's an American company, but the guys also had an office within Silver Ray. So they did the interview with me, and they told me they'll get back to me. So nikarudi Mombasa kufanya kazi yangu. Haikumaliza 24 hours, they contacted me. Bro, I'm telling you, I sent my CV on 31st January 2010. I was out of Kenya 7th February 2010. With the span of 1 week, I was out. I've never known how that happened. For some reasons, they got attracted to the CV. I don't know. My interview, they said I was one of the best.
Yes.
Out of 9 Kenyans, I was the only guy who has never been into military. And all from Nairobi. I'm talking of Kisii, Wakikuyu group. Mimi kwa mkosi peke yangu. Kwa hiyo group.
So kuna shauku mingi.
Shauku ilikuwa mingi. Acha hata kwa mimi mwenyewe pia unashai kuitwa kazi na unajiuliza hapo kweli is it me, like you pinching yourself is like ni mimi kweli, lakini kasema mwanaume ni nguvuze twende nalo. So yeah, that's how it was, and we found ourselves in Kuwait where they were doing orientation for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. After that we went to the land of the truth.
Tell me, in Kuwait, you said training.
Right.
How was your experience in Kuwait?
Mind-blowing. Having been born and raised in Mombasa, and then I've never been out of the country.
Yeah.
You know, I've never been out of the country. Actually, I had 1 year left to my passport expiring before I went. That's how I had the passport. I'd never traveled out of the country.
You had taken umechukua tu ile ya
nimechukua tu vile watu pressure, chukua DL, chukua passport. Kwa na document, you never know. But the mind ya kwamba nitaenda out of the country, then it was not there. So when I got to Kuwait, we are talking of one of the most fastest growing Middle East countries, bro. Okay, they had war, but Kuwait is way far. I mean, the currency is more stronger than even the dollar. Imagine. When I got there, Kuwaiti dinar, I believe they call it like that, it was 1 to 4. Imagine. So they have a very strong currency. Yes.
That's very strong.
They have a very strong currency. So you get there, and this company then put us in a 5-star hotel. I can't remember the name. What was the name? I'm trying to get that. But it was a 5-star hotel.
Awesome place.
Awesome place. You have your own room. You have the HR, trying to find out how you're doing, how do you find the experience. We were there for 2 weeks orientation. Literally, they were preparing us for what was ahead.
But at that particular time, do you know you are going to Afghanistan?
Yes, you do. You do know.
And you know very well, the Afghanistan you see on TV is a different place.
You know what they show in TV and what you see in real life are two different things. So yes, you had the TV showing, but again, you get to Kuwait, and then you see how Kuwait was. So there's two type of challenges there. You get to Kuwait and see Kuwait was at war at a particular point, and now it looks amazing.
Amazing.
So tukajipiga moyo konde as Kenyans say, tutatobo, we will be okay, so let's go.
Yes.
Reality checks when you land at that place. Your first time when you land, and I was at Kandahar airfield, call it CAF. They have so many bases in Afghan where you're posted, but CAF was the main area where you were posted, and then sent out to different FOBs, forward operating bases. The military used that word.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this company that had recruited you was an American company.
Yes.
So you're going to work inside
the base,
the U.S. military bases.
Right. So
when you land, tell me, what were your experience? What is it, the country that now umeingia umesema ile unaona? So niambie, how was your experience hapo hivyo?
Bro,
umeland sasa.
Yeah. I think the reality check came when you're just about to land. So when an aircraft is about to land and end up to land, you see, you're used to buildings. When you land any country, you're used to see the sea or something, tall buildings, whatever. But you're landing to this, yes, you're landing to a country and it's all desert. You're seeing, buildings exploded and debris, and you're like, where am I going?
And you're not a military person.
And I'm not a military guy. And you're in a plane with now different Americans. We're all different guys from other countries. You have Americans, you have Kenyans or Tanzanians, you have Bulgarians and stuff. So everyone has their own mentality as you land into that country. And then we go into this place called Kandahar airfield, touchdown. Bro, I'm born and raised in Mombasa all my life. The farthest cold I've had, because I come from Taita, ni baridi ya Taita na Nairobi. And then you land to a country that are just in the middle of their winter season. When I'm talking winter, I'm talking of -1-2 degrees.
Very cold.
Cold as hell, like totally cold.
Some say freezing.
Freezing cold. Yeah. Umeland nchi ya watu. Hauna hoodie, hauna nini, umevaa tu zile nguo zako za Nairobi, kasweta hapo nini na nini. It was hard, it was difficult. The weather, just touchdown itself was difficult because you're welcome with that winter thing. And I was landing in the evening. It was just getting cold now. So you get there, you're of course welcomed by the military and the escorts and stuff like that. Yeah, unaanza kujikusanya polepole ukijiuliza sasa nimekuja wapi, reality check. And I rarely tell about these stories because, you know, military life then, we could not tell them when we were there. But now since I'm back home, I can tell it.
Yes.
When I first landed, apart from the cold, we get an incoming explosive device. We used to call them incomings, whereby, you know, the Taliban will try to attack the military base by throwing in explosives.
Yes.
And there's a special sensor around the base which would sense an incoming rocket and would have a siren. So when you're being there, you're being given, you're already prepared mentally in Kuwait. You're told when you hear such things, you lay down and hit the floor and then go into a bunker. Imagine unafika kwa nchi, and that's the first thing that welcomes you. A rocket attack into the base. And you're new. You've never been a soldier.
Ili land kama mmefika.
It may land somewhere within the base because you can hear it land.
Yes.
It's going to land somehow.
You
just don't know whether it will land at you or whatever you're going to be. So it's going to land somewhere. So once it lands, you're like, thank God it didn't land on me. But that's for those who are used to it, the soldiers and stuff. Labda hawa wenzangu wa Kenya ambao walikuwa labda jeshi kidogo wangeelewa. Mimi, I had no clue what's going on. I said, what have I come to do here?
Na jamaa washatuma warning shot.
Nafikiria bibi yangu, mtoto wangu 3 years hapa Mlawasi utatoboa, nimetoka Mombasa, hii mambo gari. But yeah, it is what it is. We ended up being over there.
So, you land there, all these people around you,
right?
You have a few Kenyans that you went with,
right?
Did you ever encounter Kenyans? Nasikianga wa Kenya, unajua tunakuanga very tunakuanga very tunanusa.
True story.
Yes.
Now this is where I believed Kenyans are go-getters. That's where I believed. I thought for once maybe I'll be probably the fewest or a few Kenyans going there.
Wale tisa tu mumeenda.
Wale tisa. I was shocked when I go to a place, we call it South Park. South Park was an area where we were gathered for a temporary session or temporary time where they get to know maybe James so-and-so would go to this fob. They would distribute us among the fobs according to a job title and where the work was supposed to be. Getting there, I remember, I've never forgotten, shout out, I think it's Mureidi, used to call him Mureidi. He was a truck driver. The guy has been in Afghan for 5 years plus. Not just Afghan, he goes out of the wire. When he say out of the wire, he literally can drive himself.
I know there is a move called inside the wire.
Yes, inside the wire is within the base.
Within the base.
So we were called inside the wire logisticians. Like we are not allowed to go out of the wire.
Yeah.
It's really risky out there. So this guy is an escort, a Kenyan driver escorting guys out of the wire, telling us karibuni bana. Wase.
Unakutana naye. Unamuuliza ulikuja aje huko?
Namuuliza bro. Anaambia watu usijali, kuja usalimie wengine. So I was like, hey, kumbe jamaa huku. And they're like, bro, karibu, tupambane, tutafutie pesa familia. So hiyo ikanipatia motisha, said, kwa ile wa Kenya, hakuna kitu hawezi fanya. Hakuna. While I'm here thinking whether to go back, there's a Kenyan telling me, bro, it shall be okay.
Na ameishi huko
miaka 5 na. Anakuambia kwanza he was sijui ex-military sijui Kenya, akakuja huko na akapata kazi na akakuwa escort. Msata anaongea Pashtu naongea kilugha ya Kiafghan. Hebu niambie how Kenyans can go for it. Amefika mahali even though knows the dialect.
Unajua, when you talk about Kenyans and then especially Kenyans being go-getters, when KDF went into Somalia,
right,
then a month or something after the liberation of Kismayo, I went to Kismayo.
Right.
So a few businesses had started like coming up. You know, before then, Kismayo was controlled by Al-Shabaab.
Yeah.
So I got there. We are on the streets filming with KDF. They are guarding us.
That's
yeah,
right.
Then I go to a shop. I look at a guy. I'm like, this guy doesn't look Somali. Yes, he's light skinned and everything.
No, right, yeah.
I'm like,
this is
so I test him. I'm like, Ndugu Abariako. He's like, mzuri. I'm like,
Bluetooth ka connect.
Unaitwa nani? He's like, naitwa Mwangi. And I was like, nakamuuliza, how did you come here?
Right.
He's like, bro, opportunity.
True story.
This is an opportunity.
True story.
For me to make it.
Right.
And I saw it and I'm like, weigh the risk.
Yep. You have to take risk. You have to take risk in life.
Kenyans are everywhere.
Right.
So your life in Afghanistan. Tell me, how long were you in Afghanistan? What are some of the encounters that you look at and you say, you know what, my friend, I was here.
Right. I was in Afghanistan for 5 years.
5 years.
2010 till 2015. February 2010 till February 2015. Of course, you could go home for rests or rather leave. We call it leave back home. They call it R&R, rest and whatever back over there. So you could be like, the first time I went there, I did 6 months, 6 straight months. Non-stop. It is, I would never try to do that again, but I had to do it because you're there, you're looking for the money.
Yeah.
Right? So getting there, of course, as I said, talked about the weather, it was harsh, it's crazy cold. But then as I started living there, just to notice that it's just not the cold, they have the harsh heat as well. It's a desert.
The heat bugs you experience.
So in literally the war zone, or rather this Middle East places, desert are very funny places to live in. They have the severe winters and severe heat.
So they have both extremes.
Very extreme. I'm born and raised in the coast, Mombasa. Tukienda sana Mombasa, what, 30 something, 38 or something, maximum heat. I will feel we are like, there, bro, they go up to 45, 48 degrees Celsius. Straight up. Dry heat. And you're at work, because I was working on a flatline. So you have to be out there. And the planes are landing, and military planes are fuming heat. So the planes are landing, the fumes are hot, the environment is hot, and you have to be there to make ends meet. So as a man, you go for it. You just get used.
Shilingi ni muhimu.
Shilingi muhimu, familia muhimu. So once you have that mentality to go for it, but it's not easy because you have that to fight. Imagine you're waking up, we work for 12 hours, I think, because we're using military times.
12 hours?
Yes, 12 hours shift.
So you rest 8 hours?
There's no rest. You rest your lunch. When you're working, you have 1 hour lunch. So by the time you get to job at 7, you leave the workplace at 7 at night. You go and eat and go straight home because you have to be at work the following day. No day off. There is no off in a military base.
No off?
No off. Your off starts when you're going home. So you can imagine doing those months, 6 months, no day off, 12 hours a day. And we had just gotten into Afghanistan when it was now super busy. They were deploying like every other week, every other month. And we were being logistics, or rather I was like a special cargo document specialist then. So we were like, when the military brings in their cargo, you check them and stuff, because the military are coming there for special assignments.
Yes.
They're out there to go and do their thing out there. They're there to fight. They're not there to start checking their luggages and stuff. So we were there for those type of services. Make sure whatever they're carrying is the right weight, you know, the right dimensions, the pallets are well secured and all that. So yeah, that was what we used to do to make the job easier for them. Make the job easier for them. But at the same time, you're still living under their rules and regulations.
So as I know you've told me, and when you look at the assignment you're talking about was within the base.
Right.
Did you have any assignments that forced you to get out of the base, like for out of the wire?
Not really, unless you're given a special assignment to go to what we call the FOBs, for forward operating bases. So that would mean, let's say, for instance, you're in Kandahar, and then you have to go to another base, maybe he's lacking flight manager or whatever. So you go there, you'll be assigned there to go probably train the guys over there and then be back. Or even station there for whatever months the guys will tell you.
Did you yourself experience that?
Not really. I was blessed to be in CAF most of the time. For some reasons, I've never understood how, I think it's favor from God, to be honest, because I got there and I had so much trainings. As I said, I'd never been to a military, bro. Sijawahi kuwa jeshi. And where I was assigned, my first job, I was put on a flatline. A flatline according to the military rules, and it was NATO. NATO being a whole combination of Americans, British, all that coming together. It's not easy to be in a military base when you have no military knowledge. You know, they're using military codes, they're using so much that you don't understand. But I had to settle in fast and learn everything fast. When I say fast is, you have to report your supervisor, and your supervisor could send you to a 3-star general. And he wants to know how many planes came yesterday, how much cargo is discharged, what is going on tomorrow, how many human remains. When I say human remains, how many bodies probably died and are going next week. So you had to have this at the tips of your mind or your hands, fingers.
You're also involved in shipping.
Yes, that was us. Yes, that was us.
Of the officers who were killed in the front line.
Yes. We used to prepare. We call it preps of... was the name they used to call it, for respect. So they would bring them over for whatever the case. Say if one died in another base, ship them into CAF was the main base where they had the biggest hospital facility over there. The morgues, temporary morgues, where they put them there temporarily, and we prepare documents for them to be shipped out depending on where they were. Whether it's most of the time they ship them to Germany, and Germany will now ship them out to the States. Or Kuwait, because they have an American base in Kuwait, and then they ship them out to wherever places the guys were supposed to be buried.
You said you are lucky and you are blessed not to.
Right.
What did you mean by that?
First and foremost, I was assigned to a flatline, where they call them secret clearance areas. Only but special or ex-military guys would work. That would be the Americans or British, anybody. Mostly it was just Americans and British. But I touched there and I was given, I used to work in a yard, in an outbound yard, so whereby we would fix the cargo that were being shipped to different FOBs.
Yes.
So I learned my way, I guess, my dialect. And there was one time may he rest in peace, my supervisor then, Jeremy Jacobs, was like, James, were you ever in a military before? I said, no. I said, because I love the way you work, you're articulate, you're confident, and so I would like to promote you. I said, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to give you a job. There's assignment, a certain position that came whereby they call it a flatline program manager, whereby you are now taken to the military Air Force and they train you how you could literally run yourself within the base in the flatline. Because a flatline is a secured place. Not anyone could just drive around.
Yeah.
So I was given that chance to go for that training. So I went for that training and I'm surrounded by military guys, ex-military guys. I'm talking of Americans, British and all that in our department. So cut the story long, I ended up passing the exam with the highest marks. And the Kenyan was the first Kenyan to be made the flatline driving program manager within a military base for DINCO. So from there on, my boss was so proud of me. He's American and ex-military, but he was so proud and said, you know what? And then they nicknamed me the Black Mamba over there. He said, Black Mamba, I want you to show them that you're capable of doing this. And I said, yes, sir. So anybody who came through our base, or rather our department, we were a flatline department, would not be allowed to drive in the flatline without me training them. I was the only one who was given that special training.
Wow.
So I would know my way around. I could tell someone, don't cross over here. there's a drone coming, there's an F-16 about to land, you have the radio. You know, I've never been to military, but you're given up to access of radio to know when the times the flights are coming. You're given the timings of which planes are coming through, and all these are military secured planes. So yes, all types, Chinooks, all types, helicopters and stuff like that. So you used to have a plan. I was given a plan, bro. A schedule of planes landing, planes taking off. And I would plan which cargoes were going. I would have a team. When I say a team, it's not just Kenyans. Americans were under me.
Wow.
So that's what I'm saying, it was a blessing, because you have never been into military, going to a military base, given an assignment, worked the hardest as you can, and then you get its position, and then you go hard, and you end up sitting in tables with 3-4 star generals.
We've had situations where, when you talked about moving of cargo from one base to another,
right?
I don't know. We've read them, we've watched them on news, and sometimes we've seen them in movies,
right,
where ambushes do happen. Is it like, for example, now in terms of being assigned to move, is it something that you prayed never to happen? Because Afghanistan, we had that quite a number of times the crew will be hit by either landmines or something.
IEDs.
Yeah. That
happens. The only thing about us, we had a contract, so you had to sign a contract. So luckily, my contract was not assigned to go over the wire or out of the wire.
Okay.
But again, that doesn't mean that you could stop the Taliban from bringing in or throwing stuff in your base.
Yeah.
So you're not safe.
Why you after? Because now when you say that landmines coming in, and not landmines,
rockets, we call them explosive. Yes.
Yeah, coming in. Then you talked about your first experience.
Right.
Did they ever happen again within your stay there?
So many times. Several times. I can vividly remember April 2010. I just finished 2 months, I think. I think if it's in records for those soldiers who were there then in Kandahar, April 2010, when the guys came hard at Kandahar airfield. They literally wanted to come in.
The Taliban?
Yes.
So you were there?
I was there. I remember it was around 6:37 at night. We were just coming from work. We were having our dinner. So as usual, it comes once, and because you're used to it, siren comes, umelala chini, you wait for it, all clear. Then you go to a bunker, and they announce that it's all safe because it's landed. Once it's landed, they have the military police go and check if the area has any casualties. If it's clear, they say over the announcement that it's clear. Then you head out to whatever you're doing. But for this particular day, bro, it was not the norm. They kept coming and coming. The siren was non-stop, on and on and on. And it was rocket attack, rocket attack, rocket attack. Everybody's lying down. You're not allowed to even peep your head up because you don't know it's going to land. Zinakuja. Umelala chini. Wewe lala chini. Those are the rules.
Na ufikiri kwamba inaweza niangukia kwa kichwa.
Sasa hapo ni wewe na Mungu. Ni wewe na Mungu wako kwamba Mungu, mimi niko hapa chini nisaidie kitu siniangukie. But that's the first time ever. Apart from the first time when I came, that was a reality check for me. April, I've never forgotten that day. I almost resigned. I remember that day because we called us third country nationalities, whereby we had to be in the base for almost 6-7 months to be able to have our own phones, cell phones. You're not allowed to have this smartphones and camera phones over there. You can only have these on dogo easy.
For 6 months.
You have to be in base for 6 months. If you're not an American, whatever, you're in the base with no phone. You can only go to the office and have satellite phones and call your family. That was it.
So the family, you tell the family, wait until I call you.
Yes. There's no way they could access me. I would only access them. So on this particular day when this happened and you're in the bunker where you're consolidated over there and you're seeing the soldiers moving, bro. We call them Marines or Special Forces. Sasa hao ndo wako frontline. When you see those guys, reality check. Yaani unajua hapa sasa kumeumana. Wacha soldiers wa kawaida. Hao ni wale frontline wale mbele sasa. Kama Kenya tunaitaga ndio Rekes wetu ndio nani squad hiyo. Sasa wale ndio mbele wako Kandahar wanatembea na ni usiku. My helicopters zina fly like low. And you have to show your badge because they're working with lights. If you don't have a badge, you have to explain yourself. Who are you? What are you doing here? Because they'd said they'd come in, I think 9 or 10 had actually gone into the base. So wanatafuta hawa watu wako wapi ndani ya base.
Mataliban.
Wameingia. Wameonekana wameingia. So wanawatafuta kila mahali bro. So hapo umelala chini, nimetense, nafikiria familia, bado zinaingia hizo rockets. Unaona msee amekuja na bunduki, amekushikilia na kuambia sema jina lako, unatoa badge, useme jina, uko department gani, employment number yako. Yani ilikuwa so intrigued into my mind, I can remember my employment number up to now. And I've been, nimetoka Afghan kitambo, 93459. Yani ilikuwa lazima ukuwe nayo hapo hapo.
So this thing, I remember when we were doing war journalism, when I was training war journalism in Turkey, those special forces, at night, they will come randomly in your group.
Yes.
So the only way they will stop coming at you is you lift your hand, say your name, shout your name, and say, I'm not an enemy.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Yes. What you see in the movies, to be honest, happen. I'm there. I rarely talk about it, but those things happen because it happened to us, as I told you, in April 2010, whereby they come in because they prepared you somehow when you're in this orientation back in Kuwait. And then we had, after every 6 months, you have what we call military interviews, whereby you have one-on-one with, they used to call them special forces, and prepare you mentally that, you know, anything can happen. And if this happens, this is what you should do, where you should go. Because I don't have a military background. So I'm here thinking, if someone shows up to me with a gun pointed at me and asking me, who are you? When I do, there are two things being Kenyan. I'll take off, run away.
Now you have to shoot.
Now I'll be shot. So I'm told, stay calm, you know, raise your hands. If you have an ID,
display.
You sleep with your ID, bro.
ID. Okay.
You sleep with your badge on your neck.
Anything can happen anytime.
Yes, you can have your pajama, whatever, lakini ID yako either iko kwa shingo ama kwa pilo. Kwa pilo hapa. Kikiumana, that's the first thing you take and put on. It saves you.
Si afadhali kae kwa shingo basi.
Sinakwambia. Uwachi, unaenda nao kwa toilet, kwa bafu, au uwachi hiyo kitu, because that's the only thing that can save your life when everything goes haywire. They will look for that and ask you, who are you? Because he's looking at your name, 59.
Whatever you say must tell you.
Must tell you what's here. So that's how we'll know there's an intruder. If an intruder, say, came and maybe he killed me and took my badge, and they're searching, you know, it's an instant thing. You know, he's come and hands up, say, who are you? So I should be able to say what he's saying there. I'm Enoch, blah, 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 this department, my employee number 963459. Okay, good to go.
You must cram all those things.
Off it at all times. They were so intrigued into my head, I remember them till today. And it's been like 10 years or something since I left over there. So
bila hiyo unafanywa
umeenda ama ukimbie. So because like me, I was doing flatline, I was driving most of the time, you were told when the thing hits and you're approaching a barrier. Bro, I'm talking about a barrier, not yenu ya nakumatini funguo unafanywa hivi. A proper check barrier. You stand 100 meters, 200 meters away. As you approach, put your hands on the steering. Make sure your ID is visible at all times. Like serious military rules. If you don't put your hands on the steering and they don't see an identification, you're putting your life at risk.
Why is it that, by the way,
they need to see your hands.
Because your hands can be holding something.
Yes. I can be deciding to go explode myself and I want to pull an AED on myself.
The trigger
the trigger. And because I'm in the gate, I can pull. So they need to see your hands. They need to see your eyes contact. And they need to see your badge.
Your life si rahisi.
Ngumu, lakini tunapambana.
Ndio hiyo umeniambia, life haikai rahisi, lakini ukastick. Ukasema mwanaume ni pesa.
Nayo.
When you look back, do you say it's a defining moment in your life? The 5 years that you were in, will you say that they were defining in your life as far as you and your growth and your personality is?
100%, bro, 100%. I mean, I would not be the same as I am now if I remained in Mombasa or in Kenya, to be honest. But traveling outside expanded me, especially being in a military base. You become a lot of an environment. You mingle with so many people. I'm talking of so many culture, Bulgarians, British, Americans, our fellow Africans. So culture-wise, you take that culture shock out of you. Like now you take me to Somalia, I can survive 100% because I already mingled with people. You take me to Afghanistan, I'll survive. You take me to a Balkan country, I'm talking of Russian countries over there, I'll survive. I've lived with them. They've been my colleagues. They've worked under me. I'm talking of assigning a Bulgarian to go do a job, or assigning a Tanzanian to go do a job, or a British. So when you have that culture embedded in you, you know how to treat people differently. A guy can walk in here and I can tell this guy is from a Russian country something, because they're loud, they're defensive. So I've studied them. You studied how they are, their lingo. It's like our brothers say a Nigerian walks in. Me, I can tell he's Nigerian. By the lingo, maybe he's loud, he wants to proclaim his presence. So that's how we knew. It taught me a lot when it came to learning about people's culture, appreciating people, appreciating life. Because even apart from the life itself, as a person, as a man, as a father, it teaches you a lot. Humility. It teaches you patience, because you need to have a lot of patience. I had friends who did not make it 3-4 months. They were there, they had to come back because of pressure. Wife, unaelewa, unafanya nini huko, rudi nyumbani. Kama ni pesa wachana nayo tukangane.
Wakisikia kimelipuka huko, hata wajui kwa different cities.
Yes, so there was those testing of like I was newly married with a young kid then, she was 3 years old. So those are also challenges you go through, and you have to convince your spouse that all is well. There were things I couldn't tell her. We are not allowed to tell them via phone. Unajua, I'm not allowed to tell her, jana sijalala kimeumana. I just need to assure her that all is well. So you get trainings whereby you have to have that calmness in you, despite the fact that there is war out there. You have to have that calmness. I need to have sure that family, when I land at the airport pale Mombasa, nionyeshe tu sura kwamba mimi niko sawa. And I hug them and so, mama unaona pesa inaingia na watoto tunaenda holiday. Lakini ndani ya akili nasema huyu angejua pale nimetoka. Sisemi. So those keep you having a thick skin, at the same time being humble. To appreciate life as it is. And to be honest, being Kenyan, I always tell people, let's appreciate who we are na nchi yetu vile ilivyo. Manake kama umezaliwa Kenya na hujatoka nje ya Kenya, huwezi jua. Na mtu asikudanganya toke Kenya uende Amerika ama Britain ama Arabuni, this world of countries, and feel it's okay. Go to a warzone country, you'll appreciate your country. You're talking of seeing someone. I've sat with a guy from Afghan and told me about his stories, because there are those who are also locally employed. Ni Afghani but wanafanya pale. A guy was a multi-millionaire and he told me, James, I'm here, I don't know where my wife is. I don't know where my kids are. My emotion was destroyed. My business was destroyed. You can imagine. Ya sababu ya war. Things that we take for granted and we want to go to the streets na tunataka kuharibu vitu mali nini kwa sababu unaona ni poa tukufanya. It's not. Once you're there and then you have a one-on-one with people who have gone through that, you're talking to a man who doesn't know where his wife is. You're talking to a man msee anakuambia the wife was raped in front of his eyes and the daughter and children taken away while you are forced, tied down, beaten, kila kitu yako inafunguliwa, nyumba inapigwa risasi. Imagine, mtu anakuambia this is true.
You may work hard to build. Maybe you
down,
spend a fortune.
Right.
Yeah, you spend your whole
everything, investment. Kama ni Kenya labda umechukua loan bro, nini unalipa mortgage, whatever it is, and someone tells you iko chini, flat, where do you start? Investors have gone away. Kama ni my investors, kama ni makampuni wameenda. Huyu mtu alikuwa na osha choo kule kwetu huko Afghan. I'm talking of a millionaire cleaning, because those were the only jobs available. Cool.
So he has been reduced to,
imagine, reduced from to a janitor. From a millionaire with mansions to a janitor. And he can literally show you that's where my house is. But it's debris. Imekwisha. So he actually wants even to be given that chance, to be given the wife and children, akuje tu Kenya ama akuje Nairobi, Mombasa, na aseme hapa sawa. Hata umweke Kibichi, umweke wapi, geto gani, atakwambia ni sawa. Bora anaamka asubuhi, anaenda zatembea karudi bila shida, bila rocket, bila risasi,
bila mtu kumuonyesha bunduki.
So pia sisi kama Wakenya ama Afrika tunafaa tushukuru despite it, and there's never a proper government or whatever, but always appreciate that there is peace.
Okay.
Peace is very crucial in a country.
You went there, as you said, kutafuta pesa.
Yeah.
Ulipata?
Nilipata.
Unajua Kenya wanaulizanga hiyo ndio kabla waende. Ulipata?
Nilipata pesa, na hata ukimuuliza hiyo pesa ulifanya nini huwezi eleza. That's how money is, to be honest. Hakuna mwanaume utosheleka na pesa kama uko na familia. It's all about them.
Lakini kiwango ambacho
nilitoka mahali, of course, pale nilikuwa na pale niko sahi, it's different. Niko mahali pako mbali sana, ndio nakwambia it's a blessing, because I went there with a certain position, I ended up there with a supervisory position.
Wow.
To be honest, nilirudi Kenya because the company I was working for huku had called me back and says, James, waweza rudi, kuna nafasi. And because ilifika wakati as a person, as a man, I felt I'm now losing out of my family.
Yeah.
What do I mean? Unakuja home, you have your young baby, and anaanza kujua polepole, 2 weeks mimi nishaondoka. I'm out again for 4-5 months. I come back again. When I'm starting to bond, nimeondoka. So, and I'm a hands-on dad. Unajua, me, I have girls, so I really love to be hands-on, to be there for them. So you miss birthdays. You miss, like my second born child, msichana wangu sikuona akizaliwa. Kuja kuona iko 3 months. So those are things you miss, and I said hapana. Ilifika wakati nikajiambia, unajua pesa kweli ni muhimu, lakini pia familia pia ni muhimu. So when I got this call up back in Mombasa kwa hiyo kampuni, I was probably taking 3 times as less, but I had said it's time to go back home. Saa zingine familia ni muhimu, wacha tuende nyumbani tukapambane. But in where I was also given an extension contract to stay. Just imagine.
In Afghanistan?
Yes, plus salary raise, plus a promotion. That is how tempting that job can be. Imagine uko kwa Afghan, kwa Warzone, miaka 5 imekuchosha, alafu mtu anakupatia contract nyingine, pesa nyingine mob, anakuambia James, we love your job, continue staying. But I'm thinking no, home is best, familia ni muhimu.
Okay. Yep.